Ninja Batman was released domestically here in Japan on the 30th of June last week and is the first figure of the Ninja Batman line based on the animated movie released earlier this year. The figure retails for about 5,800 yen and will probably run you about $50 US through selected online stores. The design is based on one of the suits Batman wears in the movie and is the lighter of the two in terms of armor and artillery. The other suit he wears is based more on the heavily armored samurai, which Tamashii revealed a figure of for the Tamashii Comic-Con earlier this year in Japan. This suit, however, is supposed to represent more of a ninja look with a simpler design, lighter armor and removable cape. I say simpler, but the suit is actually still very detailed, and I'm really quite impressed with the overall finish of the figure. Taking a look first at the head sculpt, it's very anime inspired. It's a very anime inspired design, and I feel it's really quite refreshing, from Tamashii, with all the movie Batmans that we're getting recently, not just from Tamashii but from other toy companies as well. It's really quite refreshing to get an animated inspired Batman figure. So it's a really nice head sculpt. Here's the other head that you get with this figure. You can see the paint gold details there. Just really nice, really nicely sculpted. The armor or the suit is full of sculpted details. You can see here all over the body. I'm going to take off the cape and I'll show you the back as well. But I just love all the little details, all the textures, and the paintwork that goes onto this figure is really quite impressive. I love all the golds that you see on his arms, on his chest plate here, down to his belt. I'm sure there's a proper name for this piece of armor here. Forgive me for not knowing the correct name for it, but yeah, all these sculpted fine details in the suit, on his legs, on the boots, just really well done. All the textures you see here under the armor, it's really cool, really interesting design for Batman, I think. So the figure also uses a mix of hard and soft plastics. For example, here on the gauntlets, it's a harder plastic. It's not the same plastic as the actual arms itself, but it's hard enough to keep the shape while giving the gauntlets, the spikes here, some flex so you don't hurt yourself when you handle it. The belt armor here, again, I apologize, I don't know the proper name, the proper term for this piece of armor here, but it is made from a softer plastic, almost a rubber. I guess it is a rubber material. And that's so it doesn't hinder the articulation, the leg articulation, which I think is pretty cool. The details painted on here are fantastic as well. So as I mentioned before, the cape is removable. All you have to do is just pop off Batman's head and take this off from the top. The cape itself isn't anything special or anything that we haven't seen before. I think if you like solid capes, you're going to be okay with this one too. It's basically 3 solid shells that attach to the head or the top of this cape here, the top piece. The 2 outer pieces here are on ball joints, and they do have some articulation. The middle piece is on a hinge, as you can see. I probably would have preferred a cloth cape, to be honest, with wires in it. Just like the one that Figma is going to be offering us with their release. You do get some movement, as I said, because of the ball joints and the hinge, and it can hold its position, fairly well. But I think with all solid capes, you're going to, be restricted anyway with movement. The sculpt is fairly nice, I have to admit. I do like all those, wrinkles there, all those the lines that run through the cape. I like the design of the cape. But I think this cape actually looks the best with Batman in a standing vanilla pose. All 3 pieces can be removed leaving the top, so you can pop off these two side pieces because they are on ball joints. And I'm not sure if you can see here, but there is a screw. If you unscrew that, you can take off the middle piece as well, which, you know, actually leaves a lot of potential, I think, for a third-party cloth wired cape, if, you know, that's what you're after. So for the articulation, I'm going to be taking off the cape, you know, just to show you the full range of motion that this figure can get without the cape. And obviously if he does have the cape on, it's going to be a little bit restricted, but let's do this without the cape. First of all, the head articulation, it's quite nice. Looks up, looks down, swivel, and you get a lot of tilt as well, like a lot of tilt compared to some other figures because of the neck joint, and obviously the head as well right there. The shoulders on this figure are great. I'm not sure how they do it, but you get a butterfly joint, you know, the typical butterfly joint going in and out like that, but you also get it going up and down, which is pretty cool. The shoulders do rotate 360, no problems, and they do have a bit of, I guess, side to side motion there because the shoulder there is attached via a ball joint, but you also get the typical bicep swivel as well, the upper bicep swivel as well. You get double jointed elbows that go a bit further than 90 degrees. You get swivels on the wrist, and of course hinges as well. You get some pretty good motion here in the ab area. You can crunch down this much forward, and you can actually go quite far back as well, side to side, waist swivel, and he does get some movement there on the upper torso as well. So for leg articulation, as I mentioned, the side skirts here, the armor here doesn't really hinder the articulation, so he can do the splits this much. He kicks back and forward this much. There is a upper thigh cut, double jointed knees, and the sculpt does run through the knees, which I think is a nice touch. There is no upper boot cut. There is no boot cut, but you do get, you know, swivels there at the feet. Up and down movement is a little bit limited because of the way the boot is designed. You get some toe articulation, and you do get a little bit of ankle tilt. It's not too much, but it's, you know, it's decent. So for accessories, we get two interchangeable heads. The standard stern head that so for accessories, we do get quite a few decent accessories with Ninja Batman. The first being two heads, a stern face head and a shouting face head. Again, just really nice details there. Really liking this. Painted straps there at the back. We get a sword with a sheath, and that actually plugs into the sheath like that, and it holds it fairly well, so it's not going to fall out. Talking about weapons, we do get two kunai, if I can pick it up, right here. It's quite small, so you might want to take care, try not to lose it, because they are quite small. Nice gunmetal grey, gunmetal silver color there with the bat symbol on the top. Very cool. And we also get 6 pairs of hands, 2 fisted hands here, 2 kunai holding hands, and I have a kunai here already for your viewing pleasure. So that's left and right. We get 2 ninja kind of pose hands, you know, that kind of pose there you see a lot. We also get two sword holding hands. I'm going to show you right now how easy it is just to put it on there, just slide it in, and he does hold it fairly firmly. We also get two open palm relaxed hands and a pair of sheath holding hands, and I'm going to show you how to put this on. So basically you just snap it on like that, and you got one hand holding the sheath and the other hand holding the sword, like so. To be honest guys, I really can't find anything I personally don't like with this figure, except for maybe the cape. But again, this is just more of a personal preference than anything. Other than that, it's a solid figure, really cool design, even if you haven't seen the movie at all yet. And, you know, just a lot of fun to pose, you know, with some really nice accessories. I think the dilemma most people will have is, you know, do you get this one or do you get the one Figma has coming out soon? You know, Tamashii will release the samurai armored version of this figure later down the track, and will probably set you back a little bit more than this version. I'm guessing around, you know, 60. I don't think it'll go further than 70, but around the 60-65 mark. Figma, on the other hand, has both versions as well. The standard ninja version for about 8,000 yen here in Japan, or 70 US, or the deluxe version that has the removable samurai armor for about 13,000 yen or 120 US. Cost wise, you're gonna be paying around the same amount if you want both versions. The only big difference is you're getting two figures with Tamashii and only the one figure with Figma. So as I mentioned, it does look like you're going to be getting two capes with the Figma version if you decide to go with the deluxe, which has both the samurai and the ninja look. You can take off the armor as I mentioned earlier. You also get a kunai effect piece as well, so that's another difference between the two companies. And the last thing I think you probably need to think about is scale, if that is a thing for you. Though I'm not too sure how tall Figma's Batman will be. If you do decide to put him together with the Figuarts Joker and his minions, there might be some size difference. Again, I'm not too sure because I haven't actually seen both figures side to side, but you know, that is something to consider. So if you could only pick up one figure, I'm gonna say, you know, wait for reviews to go up first for the Figma version. You know, then you can decide and choose, you know, the best one for your collection. Anyway, I personally love this figure, and I probably will be getting the Figma version as well, the deluxe version. So yeah, I don't know guys, comparison video, anyone? Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, thank you so much for dropping by. You guys are the best. If you haven't already, please feel free to subscribe and hit that bell button so you know when my next video goes up. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will see you all soon. Take it easy guys. Bye.